Good afternoon. Let me do the business first. In the event of a fire alarm sounds, please remain in the auditorium and stay seated. Should there be a need to evacuate, a Springmore staff member will direct you on how to leave in an orderly fashion. And please remember to use the elevators and go to a red pole once outside. And if you haven't already done so, please take that 5 seconds to either turn your cell phone off or turn the volume down so it will not ring and interrupt the program that we're getting ready to have. I would like to call this meeting of the Springmore Residents Association to order and welcome you to the third Residents Association meeting for 2025. Again, it's great to see a full house in here. And I appreciate all of you coming out in person, and we hope that there's a lot of you watching on 1341 also. Remember that all the Residents Association meetings are always live streamed. Thanks again to Carrie Ritchie, who is operating the camera. And they will also be on the resident portal within 24 hours, so you can see them again if you missed it this time, or if you just want to look at it again. At this time, I would like to ask if there are any new residents who are attending a Residents Association meeting for the first time. If you are, please raise your hand. All right, Joanne, over on the back row. As soon as Joanne gets to you with the microphone, we'd like for you to stand, give us your name, your room number, when you moved here, and where you came from. On the back row.
There's no hiding, just put it close to it.
Okay.
Just say you're in stand-up.
Hello. We are Craig and Teresa Wallace. We moved here from Pinehurst, North Carolina. We've been here almost a month, so we are very new. Is that okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Craig and Teresa, and welcome to Springmore. At this time, it's time for the program portion of our Residents Association meeting, so I will recognize our Vice President, Barbara Smith.
It is great to see everybody here. Today is our business meeting that we usually have in March, and Brad Dilday, the Executive Director, will be in charge of telling us what's going on around here. Before I turn it over to Brad, I'd like to say that next month we will have a humorous speaker and bring some laughter to us. I'm sorry, I had to say that. But we will. I think we will enjoy one of our own residents. Dr. Charles Petty will be here, and we will talk more about that later. But now I will give you the really interesting Brad Dilday.
All right, thank you. Now, I feel like I got to work extra hard to get some laughs out of you today now. Get my reputation back here. But just a reminder, this does serve as a semi-annual business meeting. We do have, obviously, staff, residents, our representatives from our management company, and potentially one or two board members present here. So just wanted to remind you all of that. We will be handling the questions that were submitted to the Management Advisory Committee this afternoon, but before that, I'll kind of do what Mr. Bundy has dubbed the Springmore State of Affairs, kind of give you a recap of everything that was accomplished in 2024, and then we'll move into the questions after that. You won't have to listen to just me the whole time. Brandon agreed to come back and talk to you again, so you're lucky to have him again. We'll see if he can get some laughs. And Jessica Pagan as well will be up here to answer a few of these questions, so you don't have to listen to me for 45 minutes straight. So without further ado, we will get started on the 2024 year in review. So kind of getting started, like I just mentioned, there were some significant administration changes during the year. Namely myself being promoted to executive director. Brandon was moved over to RLA, which is our management company, and he serves as vice president of operations there now. And that allowed Jessica Pagan, who was serving as the nursing home administrator, to continue in that role, but also take on some additional responsibilities as the assistant director. And I think that she's done a fantastic job. Brandon's done a pretty good job with where he's at. I can't judge him yet, but we'll ask David what he thinks later. But no, and then Sarah Coleman joined us as well in the administrative office as the administrative assistant. Moving on, staying in the business office, but with the accounting department, Philip Haubenreiser, who was our controller for 12 years, retired, and Dee Redmond, who many of you knew and worked with before, she's been here for over 10 years. She stepped into his role as controller, and a young lady named Brandy Moore came in January of 2024. So she's a seasoned vet now. She's been here for a little over a year, and I think she helps a lot. She has helped many of you with billing questions, dining, meals, all that kind of stuff. She's kind of the go-to now when it comes to a lot of those invoicing questions that Dee used to handle. So moving right along, we will talk about our marketing department, and the numbers speak for themselves here, you'll see, but we've got over 700 tours that Beth and Susan completed last year. The biggest numbers that kind of stick out to me is we have 411 people on our wait list right now. The wait list time varies from 1 to 5 years depending on what kind of unit is requested, but I mean, that speaks to the community we have here and our strength in the market. Springmore's still a hot commodity, and we hope to keep it that way. So 67 new residents. That's pretty impressive, too. I'm glad that a couple of you were able to make it today, Craig and Teresa, so thank you for joining us. And also, we had a lot of events around the 40th anniversary last year, which was a significant milestone, and we were happy to be able to celebrate that and involve staff, past staff, residents, family, all that. So that we had a couple of big events with that were really cool to be a part of. Dining. Thank goodness they got that handsome guy down there in the corner in that picture and not me. It's you, Brandon.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. You look good, though. You look good. Don't worry. Yeah. You look good. And a table full of gentlemen there with you, I believe, for a pizza and beers celebration. But you can just kind of see some of the nice pictures from some of the events last year, some of the big things that we had. Joanna's monthly educational seminars. I don't know how many of you are able to participate in that, but Joanna is a nutritionist, and she's been trying to do some educational things at least once a month, different options, kind of highlighting good dietary options and some good nutrition that we can all follow to help our longevity. And then, of course, the galas are always a big hit. Christmas gala and summer gala went off as always, wonderfully, and I think they were well enjoyed by everyone in the community. The grounds department, and unfortunately that photo is not from Springmore, but it does look nice. But we did a lot of concrete repairs, in particular sidewalks within the campus, but also the city of Raleigh did the sidewalks where you cross Sawmill Road. They left that one oil pan taker out right when you turn that corner, it's already black because they left a tight spot right there, but that was kind of out of our hands. But it looks good, and we got some nice new crosswalks there, so that was an improvement. And then also the landscape, some of the renovations, we got some new sod behind a couple of the villas, right outside the grill and the dining room area at North Village, right outside entrance 1 at South Village, and then I don't know where they got the sod from that they put in front of the health center, the new courtyard that's out there, kind of the health center visitor parking, but that was the most plush green grass I have ever seen. So I'm hoping in the spring it comes back and looks that nice because it really looked good out there last year. So I can't wait to see that come back. and look as beautiful as it is, and hopefully soon we'll get that gravel driveway out of there. It's there for a reason, I promise. It's not going to stay, but it has a purpose to help us get some of the demolition out once we can start upstairs on the renovation. Moving on to maintenance, and this is always a popular one. 10,556 work orders completed. Those guys stay busy. I mean, I know that it seems like sometimes it may take them a day or two to get to you, but 10,500 work orders that between 4 technicians is a lot of work. So you do a great job of keeping those guys busy. They appreciate it. They're also a part of 53 refurbishments of units, and then no major projects in 2024, but I would like to highlight that we gave them a year off maybe, but 2025 is a busy one. We've got the elevator ordered for right out here. That's still about 10 weeks out on a 16-week wait for that. The new chillers for South Village, one for each building, will be coming at the end of this month. So we'll interrupt the traffic flow for a day there as they unload, take ones off the roof, put new ones up on the roof. So that is coming here by the end of this month. And then we'll also be painting North Village. And we'll be doing that in sections, East Apartments, West Apartments, the administrative building, and then the health center. So those are things that are coming in 2025 so that they can have a nice list of major projects next year when we read this. Housekeeping department. This was one, we had 5 longtime staff, and 4 of those individuals had over 35 years at Springmore. You can see the names there, but those were people that they were staples here for a long time, and unfortunately came to a time where they weren't able to continue providing service for us, but all of them are doing well. I checked in on a couple of them recently, and everybody's happy and enjoying their retirements, so good for them. We also implemented the Works Hub, which, again, the work orders like you do for maintenance, you're now able to do for housekeeping. Hopefully, you all know that and are able to utilize that on the portal. But if not, now's my plug. It's your opportunity. If you have a housekeeping item that needs to be addressed, you can put in a work order just like you do for maintenance, and they will get to you and have that item addressed as quickly as possible. All right, IT. You can read all of that. Charles has been a phenomenal asset. He was obviously here for a long time in the transportation department, but getting him out to help Daniel and be his assistant, he's done an awesome job. He really is an asset for us. The network refresh is another kind of big project that we've done North Village, South Village. There's a few small pieces left, but all that is in hopes of being able to provide Wi-Fi campus-wide sometime down the road, but we've got to get the network upgraded, and we're just continuing to work through that process. And I also want to take the opportunity to kind of give Daniel a plug. I was just last week at our liability insurance company, does an annual meeting, and cybersecurity insurance is a big thing these days because hackers and ransomware, all that stuff is continuing to become more prevalent, and an organization like ours where we have personal health information for people, we're susceptible to that kind of attack. And the gentleman at our insurance company said Springmore had a top-notch security, and we were well above and beyond a lot of the other communities that they're looking into this because they're trying to. It's kind of a new. They're trying to figure out how much these things are worth, right? How much putting a value on how much our data is worth is a hard thing to do. And so the prices kind of jump around on what kind of premiums we should have. And it's really been an interesting thing for me to learn a little bit more about. But they said that Daniel is head and shoulders. He's got us in a great place. He's doing some extensive work here on keeping us secure. So proud of him and the work he's done. So if you see him, give him his kudos. So next up, we'll go through security, concierge, and transportation. A lot of, sorry. Clicked the button too fast, didn't I? Well, that's all right. We'll go to outpatient services. The clinic. We obviously, hopefully, a lot of you all take advantage of the clinic. We did start in November the incontinence program where they were able to deliver supplies to independent residents as necessary. The monthly programming kind of educating everyone on what's available. We got Dr. Ann here, or Nurse Ann here, full-time, 4.5 days a week now, so that was a big thing to get her here all the time. The supportive living group, that is such an active group, and they're so fun. They do a coffee hour that I get to go to once a month, and there's just a great group of folks down there that I really enjoy getting to know them, and they're a lot of fun and doing a lot of activities. If you get the chance, about once a month on Fridays, we do a seated volleyball game down there, and it gets quite competitive. So if I don't have meetings, I try to get down there as often as I can because it is a lot of fun, and they have a good group that enjoys that. And also kind of highlighting resident outreach coordinator. If you don't know, that's Sue Kohler, social worker. I can't sing her praises enough. If you've interacted with her, she's just phenomenal. She's been a great asset for the community. We are very fortunate to have her, and if you don't know her, I'd highly recommend you reach out and get to know her. She offers a variety of resources that can be very beneficial for you. Stewart Health Center. Whoops, sorry, hit it again by accident. All right, so Stewart Health Center. We had 145 independent living residents that stayed in the health center at some point in time or another for rehabilitation or respite care, which is a good percentage of you. So that's nice, and hopefully everyone saw the care that we were able to provide there and enjoyed their time. We did a lot of focus on employee retention, and you can see the benefits of that. 47 employees that were recognized with over a decade of service to Springmore, and they work hard back there. They don't get to sit around and sit behind a computer. They're hands-on, and they put in a lot of work and very dedicated to taking care of the folks that are back there. Also, 152 clinical training sessions. That speaks to the SDC and the whole staff and the group back there to be able to get CNAs off the floor, do in-services, maintain the training, and making sure that they're up to date with best practices for everything we need to do incorporated in that clinical setting. So that's a very important piece to the training. Home care went up significantly from their last year. I mean, you look at the hours, they went up over 5,500 hours, and they were able to keep up with that demand, keep staff here. They did a great job keeping up with everything there. Still getting rolling with our external home care as well, but we're offering that now and sending out mailers and trying to promote that where we can and get some growth in that external avenue. Also, Richard, who oversees home care, is in charge of the pharmacy and therapy services. Just another plug for kind of the pharmacy. If you aren't utilizing it, we recently updated the hours where it's open at 9 o'clock every day now. A couple of shorter days in there, but we're trying to see the demand and when people were coming, and we've adjusted the hours accordingly. And it seemed like most people were coming in the mornings, so we've tried to update the hours. And Haley is here. She does an awesome job. I mean, we are blessed to have her. She's a great resource as well. If you have questions, even if you don't get your medications there, she's happy to talk to you. She can be a resource for anything you need. Medication, ask any question, and she's got the knowledge. She'll help you out. Therapy, we switched from Legacy over to Trinity. Believe that was effective February of this year, but that's a big change for us, and we were able to keep Brooke Houston, who I know everybody thought very highly of, so we were very fortunate and glad we were able to keep Brooke on, and she's still enjoying everything, doing a good job with Trinity and getting them off the ground and getting them used to kind of Springmore's operation and learning their way around the building. It's a big part. Those poor, they go all over the place, and when you take somebody they're used to that little office and then you tell them to go find apartment 227 and they have no clue how to get there. So that's another big, thank goodness Brooke's here to give them a map. Now security and transportation. a lot of cross-training. That's kind of been an emphasis for Jacob in that role. He's tried to get where you're not just a guard, you're not just a driver, but you're able to cross-train and fill in where needed so that people can just be a lot more useful in their roles. They're able to fill different needs. If you need a guard, he can change you to second shift, to drive, and just kind of help where we have a little bit more flexibility within the staffing. And then also the communication systems, we had to get our FCC license renewed to be able to use the radios, and also the mass messaging system. We're continuously trying to upgrade that and making sure that it's working as well as it can and getting messages out. Hopefully last week you got something when the tornado warning kind of kicked in. Okay, good. So we're getting there. It's a work in progress. We're still trying to perfect that, but it is a nice resource to have. And then finally, pathways. Hopefully you see some of your smiling faces in that picture. But a lot of events, Pathways is one of those departments. They're here 7 days a week. They do a lot of work, a lot of planning on the trips. I mean, you can see the numbers there, how many outings they do, 350 outings for independent living. So I'm not good at math, but that's almost one a day for a year. I hope that they never let me participate in the spelling bee, because that would be embarrassing. But Carrie and her team do a fantastic job. Like I said, they're here all the time. They're very dedicated, and I think they do a wonderful job. She's even operating the camera today, so they're willing to step in and help anywhere that they're needed. So that's kind of the presentation for what I've got for kind of our year in review. Looking forward to continuing personal growth in 2025, growing with you all, seeing what all we can do and what we can accomplish. I think we're on the right path, keeping Springmore a desirable place to live, and hopefully you get what you're looking for out of me, but my door is always open, and feel free to come and talk to me if you think you're not getting what you need. So with that, we'll kind of transition over to the questions that we received for the Management Advisory Committee. Like I said, I'll do a few of these, and then I'll stop talking for a little while, and you can hear somebody else. But we ended up with 18 total questions. So pretty decent amount. I think last time when I had to stand in for Brandon, I only had like 4 questions. So you put a little more pressure on me this time, but that's all right. We can handle it. So I'll go ahead and get started with these. The first one was about resident-staff relations. Residents develop close relationships with staff members, perhaps especially with housekeepers, security, and home care personnel, and sometimes want to gift them with something meaningful. I understand common practice now is for residents to gift staff members with a meal ticket. However, as I understand the system, a staff member can only use the meal ticket gift for a single purchase in the bistro or grill, and the remainder of the value of that meal ticket is lost. I'll kind of pause right there, and the meal tickets are a $23 value, just like a guest ticket, and they can use them in the main dining rooms to go through the line, and it offers them the ability to get dessert, salad, entree, 2 sides, bread, the whole thing like you would get with a full meal. So it's not limited to just the bistro or the grill, and it is a full meal. The question goes on, it seems desirable to establish an internal Springmore debit card system that would allow a staff member to shop in the bistro, grill, or convenience store. If these cards were available in $5 to $10 denominations, residents could purchase them as a gift. It isn't, and it kind of asks some questions there, but I really just want to point to, I don't think that we're prepared to kind of go in the direction of a Springmore debit card system or anything like that. I think the meal ticket is a good value, and the staff do appreciate getting those. It is in section R of the resident manual is where it speaks to the gift policy. The policy is that individual employees cannot accept gifts of money from residents, whether the gifts are in form of cash, checks, or gift cards, but residents that choose to give items of very limited value, such as food, used clothing, small household items to an employee may do so. The resident should not feel any pressure to give, and the employee must not feel pressure to accept. Any problems will be referred to the executive director, which I'm happy to deal with at the time. But I think that does allow you, if you think that Brandon's doing a fantastic job and you want to buy him a Mountain Dew from the convenience store, that's perfectly acceptable. So that kind of eliminate, the $5 to $10 gift card thing. But if you want to give someone a drink or a candy bar and a drink or something like that, then that's certainly fine. You can't give the cash to a staff member though. So hopefully that kind of clarifies that question. Moving on to the next one is parking. The parking situation is a mess with inability to find a space. I'm not sure that measures are being taken to verify that cars have required stickers to park in resident spaces. In some cases, residents have 2 cars. This was not the situation some years back. Hopefully, there should be enough spaces to accommodate 1 car per resident. So kind of responding to that, we have 555 parking spaces on campus. That does not include the two staff lots. So over on Creedmoor Road, we're able to use a parking lot over there. And then we have a lot right off of Sawmill that we use right between the church and Springmore. So it does not include those. 555 parking spaces, 388 independent living units. So again, it's almost 1.5 parking spaces per unit. So that should give us ample space. I know that at times that is not the case. Security does patrol all the lots and visibly inspects for parking stickers. At times, residents, even though upon move-in, they're given instructions on where to place those stickers. Some people don't want to put the sticker in that place or maybe don't understand, and the stickers get put in some different locations at times. They're also sometimes difficult to see with a dark tint on like an SUV or depending on the vehicle. So a lot of times security will get a call, hey, there's a car that's been out here for 2 or 3 days, and they go and look and there actually is a sticker. It just wasn't either in the appropriate location or it's kind of behind a tent where it's not really visible. But from our standpoint, we can continue to provide education to residents on where to put the stickers so that they are visible and you feel comfortable that parking spaces aren't being taken up by guests or vendors or any of that. We don't have any data to support that there are more people with 2 cars, but that does kind of seem to be the feeling amongst staff and residents. We do, as has been shared in several recent memos, we ask for people to be courteous and understand with community living that if you have 2 vehicles, you should have a primary vehicle that you park closer to an entrance and a secondary vehicle that's a little bit further from the building. Security is always available to offer you a ride to or from your vehicle if you feel the distance is too great and you don't want to walk. They will come and pick you up. They will take you from entrance to your car. So that's always an option. You just call 0 and they will come and take care of you. And then we also will continue to educate contractors and the staff on the importance of parking, because I do know that there are times, as much as we hammer it into them, where they are supposed to park, they don't always listen, especially third-party contractors, and it's hard if we're not sitting there all the time to see exactly where they are. But if you do see a contractor or someone parking somewhere that they should not be, please call 0. Don't try to address it yourself, but call 0 and let the front desk know, and we'll address that with those individuals. All right, we'll move on to the next question. The light outside the North Village mailroom door. A light needs to be put between the entrance near the mailboxes on the north side and near the entrance to the health center where the white pole is. When entering or leaving after dark, one cannot see the sidewalk or the parking lot. It is very dark and can be a walking hazard. After dinner, I get my mail, but I am afraid to leave that area for fear of falling. Please add a light. I went to that area the other night after it got dark, and there's a big spotlight on the side of the building right outside of, there's a breezeway where the golf cart's parked, and then there was a bright light and the lamp posts. It seemed to be well illuminated to me. Maybe the light was out previously, and I will address, hopefully we addressed it and that has resolved the issue. But I also wanted to let you know that the lamppost lights out there will be replaced with the newer LED lights like we've done around campus, where it kind of shines down and is much brighter. So I'm thinking that will also help alleviate some of the concern there. But I'll continue to kind of keep an eye on that when it gets dark and just making sure that the lights are working. Moving on to the next one. The resident manual answers many of the questions residents have. The copy on the Community Apps site does not have either a table of contents nor an index, therefore not easy to use for residents. With both of these sections added, the manual could be set up to allow clicking on an item in any section and being sent directly to that location, which would make it much easier for residents to find the answers to many questions. Great idea. I love that suggestion. It's going to take us a little bit of time. I talked to Daniel about that. It is possible, but we will have to manually create those links. So we've got to go in and add the table of contents and then point, whatever, the gift section. You'll be able to click right on it and it'll take you straight to that statement about the gifts, but that'll take us time to hyperlink everything. So give us a couple of weeks and we'll get that active on the portal for you. But that's a great suggestion to make it easier to find that stuff. I'm going to take a little break, let Brandon come and answer a couple of questions, and then I'll be back to close us out in a little while. So thank you.
All right, good afternoon. Hey guys, so good to see y'all. This is so nice. Thanks for letting me come back. Appreciate it. So I have two questions that Brad suggested I answer, so I'm glad I could answer these. And as always, if I don't answer it to full potential, or if you still need some clarification, let me know afterwards. I'll be happy to elaborate as much as I can on it. So. Just make sure that wasn't me. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started here. Have both really good questions. The first one talks about name tags beside residents' doors, and I'll kind of paraphrase this question. It's kind of long, but it's a great question. It says, as a new Springmore resident, I make an effort to meet all new residents, especially the ones who live in my hallway, and socialize with them. However, I found myself embarrassed several times approaching my neighbor due to an inaccurate nameplate beside their door, mainly when a spouse has passed away. So it goes to talk about them being embarrassed and asking where the spouse was, and then the suggestion, her point was that she would not want to have her spouse's name still up there if he was not living. So that's the whole kind of background on that. And there's two questions. And the first one says, is it possible for the name tags to be updated when a spouse dies to avoid the uncomfortable situation? And second, is there a legal requirement to maintain both names on the door name tag? If not, we should change by asking the residents their preference for any update or names displayed. So, this is a tough one. It really is. Absolutely, we can change the nameplates anytime that y'all want to do that. I'm actually going to suggest that Brad I think we've already talked about this, put a little article in the resident memo, just reminding everybody, if you need your name tag ever changed, go see Sarah Coleman in the business office, and she can type up a new one. No problem. So a little reminder, if you need it changed, want it changed, we can do that at any time. And second, there's no legal requirements to have it changed. It's just something that a lot of people, I think, still find comfort in having their spouse's name attached to something like that. I was pondering this last night, and I called my mom about it because I think most of y'all know my father passed away late last year. And I was asking her, I said, hey, Mom, would you want Dad's name beside the door? What do you think about that? And she was saying all the legal things she had to go through. You legally have to take the name off and how tough that is to go through that whole process and to have something still there with his name on it. She couldn't give me an answer one way or the other. She said, I don't know. so all that's to say, but what she did help me validate is that it's resident choice. I think it's just resident choice. So I think if somebody still has their spouse up there has passed away, and if you ask where are they or how are they doing, and they say they passed, don't be embarrassed, because that was their choice to leave it up there, and I don't think they'll be upset about it. So anyway, but if you do want a name change, you go see Sarah, and she'll take care of that for you. The second one talks about meal plan. The meal plan is always something that's very intriguing and a popular topic all the time at Springmore. So hope the food's been good here. I thought I'd lose a little weight by not eating here every day, but I don't think that's happened, has it, Brad? Well, Brad told a resident that the other day. He didn't think I'd lost any pounds, did you, Mr. Knight? But that's all right. It's all right. It's true. It's true. Thank you. All right, good. All right. Somebody told me one time I carry my weight well. Yeah, so anyway. So with the meal plan here, the question is, for residents that have trouble using their entire monthly reduced meal balance, would the team consider a country club-like plan, which has a monthly spending minimum of roughly $150, plus paying only for what is purchased? The resident advantage is no unused meal plan balance. Another suggestion is read of a retirement community which partners with 3 nearby restaurants. When residents dine at the restaurant, they show their resident cards to the servers, and their meal charges may be billed back against their meal balances to the residents that build strong relationships with connections with the restaurants. That will be very hard for us to do. So I'm not sure of, well, first of all, the first part is kind of like our reduced meal plan already. It would just be, basically, if we wanted $150, we would just reduce the meal plan about another $200. So we changed the meal plan probably 5 years ago to give residents more choice on that. I feel like having 2 options, a full meal plan and the partial meal plan, I think that suits us well now. I would not want to get into anything else at this moment. And the other thing about the retirement community, I'm not sure which one it is, but I'm thinking it may be a rental community where there's a lot of fee for service. You know how we pay one exclusive monthly rate, and our food, our transportation, our clinic, oh my gosh, anything you can imagine is covered, minus if you want to go on an activity, you have to, pay to go to the movie or whatever. So we're all inclusive. For a lot of the rentals, you have to pay for transportation, you have to pay for housekeeping or above and beyond housekeeping. You have to pay for activities or all these type of things. So we would have to actually unbundle all of our services to really have something separate like that, and that's just not the way that we're set up. Most traditional retirement communities that are a buy-in community like Springmore or a life care community, they have two meal plans. They have a declining balance, and they have a meal credit option. Well, we have both, actually. So we used to have, things everybody knows, we'd have everybody in the contract, we had 1 meal a day. So we, when we got the cafe and a couple of other venues to spend money on, they converted that 1 meal a day into a daily amount. Then they just times the amount of days in the month to give you a set amount, which is flexible spending based on a declining balance. So we've kind of taken both of those and kind of presented them here within our meal plan. So anyway, that's all these are great suggestions, and some communities do that. Some communities allow residents to purchase alcohol in their meal plans. We chose not to do that. I didn't like that idea. I think that the money you pay for your meal is your meal, and if you want alcohol, you pay extra for it. I think that gets into a lot of mishandling of things, and that's just not the way we want to operate here. But anyway, those are the 2 questions I had. I appreciate y'all listening to me, and happy to explain a little bit further. And before I forget, I cannot recall for the life of me which resident let me borrow this book before I left. Do y'all remember this? It's called The Devil's Elbow. It's about the Murdaugh family. Y'all remember that? Those crooked South Carolina people, I mean, I don't even know. I don't have any socks that have South Carolina on them today, so actually I do. But anyway, I promised whoever left this that they said to return it to the library. So I'm going to take this to the library. If it's not open, I'll make sure Brad puts it back in the library. So you're all my witness. I gave this back. It's a great book. So whoever let me borrow it, I can't remember. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jessica Pagan, the Assistant Executive Director. For those that do not know me yet, although I do feel confident that I have had an opportunity to meet everyone here today, I do have 5 questions that I wanted to share the answers to, and I want to go ahead and start by saying if my answers are not fully what you're needing, please feel free to stop by and see me at any time, schedule a meeting with me or email me, and I will gladly take the time to go further in detail with each of you if you'd like. The first question that I have is, before COVID, Springmore had 2 medical doctors and 1 nurse practitioner in the clinic. Now they have 1 nurse practitioner and a half-time medical doctor and no doctor or nurse practitioner on the premises on the weekend. Why is this? This is a question that's actually come up a lot over the last year that I feel confident that we've answered. It was also in the resident memorandum in February, just going further in detail because we do want to ensure that everyone really understands the provider hours in the clinic and how those hours are being utilized. Currently, the hours that our current providers, Dr. Patel and Ann, are on site is higher than those of the previous team that was in the clinic. I know that many of you have worked closely with Dr. Ed over the past many years, and he was just a pivotal physician here in our community. But Dr. Edmondson's hours did fluctuate just based upon his availability and if there was something going on in the clinic or here at Springmore. Dr. Patel is here consistently 8 hours a day, 2 days a week, and that is every single week. Just as a standard primary care physician office, hours are allotted for each individual appointment. And the clinic staff do manage those very well to ensure availability for scheduling appointments. And also the staff are triaging individual situations and trying to make availability where at all possible. After the normal business hours, Raleigh Medical Group has an established on-call physician program that are available to assist should we need to contact them for any of the residents established with Dr. Patel or Ann. Raleigh Medical Group is committed to us here at Springmore to meet the needs of our community from a provider standpoint, and we continue to work with them closely to adjust physician availability as needed. That's something that I'm constantly doing, is analyzing the appointments, the residents that are going to the clinic, speaking with the staff, speaking with residents. Your feedback is essential. If you're having concerns with having a provider available with Raleigh Medical Group and through our clinic, please make sure that you're sharing that with us, because from speaking with the staff in the clinic that we do have adequate physician hours available, and we want to continue to meet the needs of each of you in our community to provide the best medical service possible. Question number 2, the Springmore policy for admitting residents to the Stewart Health Center seems to have changed, making it more difficult for residents to admit. Why is this? The policy for admitting residents to the Stewart Health Center has not changed. Our top priority remains the care and overall well-being of our residents. When a resident experiences a change in condition or has a medical need and a nurse is contacted to go to visit with them, they're evaluating each situation. It's essential to seek further guidance and obtain an order from a provider, whether from a primary care physician, if you attend the clinic and there's a provider on site. The clinic is making those accommodations to ensure those residents are able to be seen, to be able to promptly be admitted to the Stewart Health Center during the normal business hours. After hours, if you are a resident that sees Dr. Patel or Ann, they can contact the on-call program with Raleigh Medical Group. But the problem is that a provider, they can't see you, they can't fully assess you, and if there's something going on, they're going to want to also make sure that you're being cleared, that whatever the root cause is of the concern, that that's being addressed before you admit directly to the Stuart Health Center. So whether you're obtaining that order from your primary care physician, an urgent care, or the emergency department, it is essential to ensure that we have that physician's order to go into the Stuart Health Center. Recognizing that the Stuart Health Center is a licensed area, meaning that we have to follow the governing North Carolina laws for the Stuart Health Center, we need to ensure that we do have that physician's order prior to admission. And again, that is a law with North Carolina, and we want to make sure that we're maintaining compliance, but also keeping you all safe and making sure that your overall well-being is being monitored first and foremost. Hopefully that answers that question. Again, I'm more than willing to meet with any of you if you have any further questions pertaining to admission to the Stuart Health Center. We definitely don't want to make it difficult for anyone. We want to ensure that we're compliant with the law, but again, we want to make sure that your overall well-being is our number one priority in every situation. Question number 3, more so a comment, is the individual stated, I would like a presentation on the difference between supportive living and assisted living and how and when people will qualify. I'll be working with the Pathways Department and scheduling a presentation in the month of May, specifically on this, so please stay tuned there. You're always able to meet with myself or Sue Kohler, the Resident Outreach Coordinator, if you have any individual questions regarding levels of care that are offered here at Springmore. But the biggest difference between supportive living and assisted living is that supportive living is an area of independent living, meaning that the residents in supportive living are still able to maintain independence without hands-on care. With assisted living, there is hands-on care provided, meaning a CNA can assist with activities of daily living. Staff are available to assist with medication management, and those are two components that are not offered in supportive living. But again, we'll have a further presentation in the month of May and go further in detail and answer additional questions pertaining to that. Question number 4 is the North Village exercise classes are crowded. Maybe we should reconsider allowing people on the wait list to attend. We really understand that the morning exercise classes are very popular in our community, especially here in North Village. But we also understand that it's important to provide opportunities for residents on the wait list to participate, as this helps them become involved in our community and build relationships, making their transition here to Springmore a little bit easier when they do move in. To accommodate the demand, an additional morning exercise session was added in recent months and will continue to be offered. And that's actually offered in South Village. And Carrie's team has decided, because that did help alleviate some of the demand, that's something that they want to continue. The team's continuing to look at different types of ways that we can offer continued sessions and grow not only the exercise program, but other programs here at Springmore through Pathways, just to make it a more positive experience and environment for all residents. And the last question that I have is, the great room gets hot during exercise classes. Can the temperature be adjusted? We understand that the great room can definitely get warm. I have experienced that recently myself. To help improve comfort, we will be installing fans within the next couple of months. Our goal is to make this a much more comfortable environment for everyone, and we really do appreciate the patience as we make sure that that's implemented, again, hopefully before the hot months of the summer. All right, we'll turn it back over to Brad. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Brandon and Jessica, for taking some of the pressure off of me there for a little while. I'll continue. I just got a few more but we'll wrap it up right in time. So the next item I had is I am lactose intolerant. Last spring, I attended a meeting in the South Village dining room at which I brought up the difficulty of getting a nutritious meal while avoiding all dairy ingredients. I heard several echoes among other residents while I was speaking. I'm only asking for clear identification of various offerings in this regard. The labels above the steam table are good, but not always strictly correct. Sometimes I ask and learn that whatever item I'm asking about is okay to eat. My biggest request is for the large pre-prepared salads in the bistro to come with the cheese in a small separate cup. Those salads are much more nutritious than the small ones, but are a no-go for lactose intolerant residents because of the cheese. That is an easy accommodation that we can make. We will do that. We'll have some where we just keep the cheese in a small cup to the side. The items, typically the little recipe cards in the front at the steam table, they show everything that should have, could cause an allergy or a reaction. But we'll make sure that they're listing items appropriately. But again, with the salads, yeah, that's an accommodation we can easily make. And also, in general, any special diets or any concerns, Joanna Bell and Jacqueline is another nutritionist that just started 2 weeks ago. If you have concerns or special diet needs, please confer with either one of those two, and they can help you to pick items or help cater a menu that you'll be able to eat. All right, next up, what are the plans for the 2 new laundry rooms at the backside of Stewart Health Center? They appear to have been ready for use for 1 to 2 years, but are kept locked and used for storage in the second floor one, but nothing is in the ground floor one, which is the C-Wing laundry. You are absolutely correct, and it drives me crazy. But again, it goes back to the fun of our DHSR inspections and being able to continue the progress of the renovation. Those 2 rooms, because of the elevator shaft, we took away 2 old resident rooms that were at the end, and rather because we couldn't leave an open wall there, so we built the elevator shaft. And those rooms went ahead and converted to laundry, but the electrical supply for the 2 washing machines, first and second floor, is connected to an electric panel that will be installed in phase 6. I'm not an architect, I'm not an engineer, doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's the way the phasing, because of it, because of the way the phasing worked, we were ahead of ourselves in building those rooms, but it had to be there because of the way the elevator shafts tied into the rest of the building. So, like everything else, stay patient with that, and I promise they will be there. There is a new one that's operational in the administrative area, and then when we build second floor, the next phase, they'll have their own laundry room up there too. So eventually, again, each neighborhood will have its own specific washer and dryers, but until we get done, they will. It'll be kind of piece by piece. All right. Next up, I'll just read the very gist of this because it's a little bit long. But why isn't there a traffic light at the entrances of North and South Village opposite the traffic light on Sawmill Road? People drive fast. I cross that road every day coming to and from work, and I do know that it is a dangerous intersection. We've worked with City of Raleigh extensively for a long time trying to get another light there. They're not willing to do it because of the traffic flow. We can beg and plead our case, but we don't have the jurisdiction. The city makes that decision, and they've studied the traffic flow and have decided that it's not necessary. We can continue to push for it, but it's kind of their decision to make there. All right, just a couple more good ones here. What is Springmore doing about mouse abatement, particularly in North Village? We actually did sign a contract with our current pest control company that allows them to now do wildlife abatement, which includes mouse, raccoons, all that good stuff. We're giving them for the rest of the contract term to see if there is improvement. If there's not, I've already interviewed a new company that we feel very strongly can handle any issues we may be having. So we'll see. We're giving them an opportunity. If they don't make the proper corrections, we will be going to a new company in September. So we'll keep you posted on that. Next one is when will North Village remodel the dining room, get more round tables, and improve the process flowing through the serving line? It sometimes takes 30 minutes. There's no immediate plans to remodel the dining room in North Village. We did recently, I think this past summer, we added a few more round tables. We do have one more round table that we have purchased. We just got to figure out where to put it because you're going to lose seating if we add another round table. So Ashley and Demi, they're keeping an eye on the traffic and kind of the demand and where people are sitting. And if the opportunity presents itself, we do have another round table we could put into the dining room, but you'll be losing, you take a 4-top or a 3 4-top tables and you end up with 5 around a round table that takes the same amount of space. So it's more just being able to accommodate the people. I know the round tables are popular, but unfortunately, there's nowhere right now that we can put one and still be able to accommodate the seating for everyone. So, also with the process of flowing through the serving line, I think the biggest hiccup, unfortunately, is the salad bar, which pre-COVID we know was self-service. Unfortunately, we cannot go back to that. But when they have 2 people on the serving line, it seems to expedite that. And that's the plan moving forward, is have 2 people so that we can get salads made a little faster and keep people moving. So that is hopefully the fix for that. The other one is just a statement. North Village Grill needs a facelift and a good cleaning. We can schedule a deep cleaning for that, and we'll get that taken care of as well. And then the outdoor furniture by the grill needs replacing. We have ordered 2 new tables and umbrellas. The seats will remain the same, and those cushions were replaced about 2 years ago, but they're still in really good condition. But we do have, I know particularly the table on the right, the hole kind of got walled out by the umbrella, so it doesn't sit flush. But we're waiting on the 2 tables to arrive, and then we already have the umbrellas here. So before it gets warm and you can enjoy those seats, we'll have some new tables out there for you. So that is all the questions we had. Just like Brandon and Jessica said, if you need more clarification, if you want more detail, anything that you feel like I didn't answer or they didn't answer appropriately, by all means, reach out to me, email, call, whatever works best for you, and I'm happy to meet with you one-on-one or talk on the phone, provide any additional information or context that may be beneficial. Otherwise, I appreciate your attentiveness and your time today, and I look forward to seeing you all around the community soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentations that you've made. And David, they didn't even let you say anything, but would you please stand?
I'm too serious a person, apparently.
This is David Ammons. I want to make sure he is recognized by the group. Thank you, David. All right, let's do some door prizes real quick. Brandon, pick a red one.
Be sure that you thank Vidya Iyer, who is the lady at First Citizens Bank downstairs. She gets these every month for us. No charge. She gets them, brings them to us, and gives them to us. So if you see her, say thank you.
Okay, the red ticket number is 026628. 026628. Mr. Cobb. Gosh, they're small. The blue ticket number is 1480219. Right in the middle, Kathy. All right. We are right at 4 o'clock, so we will not have any questions from the floor, but they're going to stay around a little bit if you want to ask them some specific questions. Thank all of you for coming this afternoon. Come back on Monday, April the 14th for the next meeting. This meeting is now adjourned.